Julian Corbett from Ksubaka is a person with 15 years experience in entertainment and gaming, and he has worked right across the world, and he's going to talk to us today about how we can look at and use gaming in a moments of joy for shoppers. So please give Julian a warm welcome.
Hi everyone, great to be here. So there's quite a lot to cover and we're going to get going. I just want to set what the challenge is that the industry is facing, what we are all hearing from clients, and I think was a topic of many of the discussions that we heard this morning.
Welcome to today's Research Business Daily Report, where we're very proud to present a very special guest, Unilever Vice President of Marketing Strategy and Insights, Stan Stananathan.
All those happening, one of our very senior leaders within the company, he gave us a challenge, which I would always hold as an incredibly inspiring challenge. What he said was, Stan, how can you think about doubling the impact in half the time and half the cost? Yeah? Sounds impossible. Yeah? We realize that it is not a dream, it is a dream that can be realized. You can actually have that dream with your eyes wide open. A lot of these companies are not even thinking about research. These are technology companies. Because if you go to somebody who's created a product for research, that has got an use in and of itself. But if you really want a breakthrough solution, you've got to figure out a way to look at technology, look at a problem, and how do you bring it all together to create a new solution.
So twice the speed, half the cost. Ksubaka took this challenge, and right now we are 10 times the speed for 1/5 of the cost. And also, we're talking to the right people at the right time. So how do we do this? We actually did not start trying to solve research problem. Our challenge initially, when we started Ksubaka, was about how can we create a better form of advertising, something that consumers would actually like. And really, when we look at the world of advertising, it's a fascinating paradox. Because as consumers, advertising is an incredible engine, $650 billion, and as consumers, we get a lot of value out of that. It fuels the organizing the world information. I do understand why some people say that this is challenging. I am pressing on the button the right way here. Okay. It fuels organizing the world information. It means that the biggest sports events in the world are able to be run, and it connects the world. But as consumers today, we also have a voice, and what we're seeing is that there's pushback in this transactional exchange between what advertising enables us as consumers and the fact that we feel assaulted by the thousands of messages a day that we are subjected to. And therefore, consumers getting in control start pushing back. So the one way that brands feel about how are we actually going to get consumers' attention when there is so much noise is to be increasingly interruptive. And so spamming people on their phones. And this ends up with the fact that, this is very confusing. This ends up with the fact that even digital that is supposedly incredibly targeted is becoming increasingly annoying for consumers. And these are the type of responses that people give when they're asked, what are your feelings around advertising? And therefore, naturally, consumers are taking action. We're seeing an explosion in ad blockers. This year, it's $22 billion that have been displaced through ad blockers, which means that these ads are no longer reaching people, as we're seeing a 41% increase year over year on how many of these are installed on people's phones. And when these ads are actually delivered, i.e. not blocked, who is actually seeing them? Well, what we're seeing is that there's an explosion in ad fraud. Most of the traffic on the internet today, 60%, is actually bots. It's not human beings. And then there's a question on viewability. I saw a number of people were talking about attention span under that of a goldfish and how this is a challenge for researchers. Well, what we see on viewability is that actually, if you are saying that an ad is viewed when 50% of the pixels are seen for more than 1 second, that's not really viewed. And yet consumers are very clear on what they want. If you ask them, what is it? Well, what is it that you will pay attention to? They say, well, we want stories. And we prefer experiences, something that we touch, to something that we see. And yet the most successful advertising that we see today is still one where you are looking at other people experiencing something rather than something that you are experiencing yourself. So I'm just going to show you a few extracts of things that you can start playing. A few extracts of things that inspire us. And it's always when it's at this intersection of the physical world and where people are actually really, truly getting engaged. So this is something that was done in Singapore where you hug a Coke machine and it gives you a little moment of happiness. Here was a billboard. When the train comes in, the hair starts blowing and creates surprise and joy for the people that are there. Honda R last year was a YouTube where you could press the letter R and you'd see two sides of a story between day and night. Here was how you get people to climb up the stairs rather than taking the elevators by gamifying, making something joyful on the staircase. Pepsi Max, which is a AR experience, and the video has blocked, so we'll stop there. But the one commonality of all of these elements is that the one common point between all of these is that they're not scalable. So what we look at is, what are the ads that truly connect with people? Well, when advertising is done right, it can empower. It can also create emotion and debate, like here for Dove. And it can create a smile. And for us, it's about creating moments of joy for shoppers. So we do this in store. And we do this in a manner that is incredibly scalable, and with consumers engaging around our interactive displays in store, we are able to generate millions and millions of responses in a month from shoppers. So I'll just show you a quick video here of what the setup is like and how this works.
Life is full on, everyday crazy, things to do, places to be, people to see. It's non-stop rushing, working, commuting, shopping. Our PlaySpots put brands into the hands, hearts and heads of people through playful experiences at the point of purchase, bringing the brand to life. It's a powerful connection, played by millions of shoppers millions of times. A connection that delights and rewards. We create moments of joy through the power of play. Play gets people to lean in, not turn away, to get involved, to stay connected and be rewarded for their time and attention. You can't fake play. It's real people, real emotions in real time. And because you can measure play, it delivers actionable data and tangible results at the cash register. Play works. It's universal. Whoever you are, wherever you're from. Play is a language we all speak, something we all love. It engraves itself onto our memory, creating powerful results for brands and stores alike. Ksubaka is a platform delivering sustainable and scalable moments of joy through its network of PlaySpots. Ksubaka is play.
So this is what we do. We create interactive brand stories. We take what the brand message is in a TV commercial, for instance, and we gamify that experience. And really, again, the goal for us was, how do we create advertising that is more memorable, that is more scalable, and that is in the moment where consumers are actually making their purchasing decision. But because what we set out to do is something that is completely non-interruptive, people just choose to go towards our displays without being spammed on their phone, without being pushed by a promoter to do so. Well, there's a completely different relationship, transactional relationship, between our offer and the consumer. And we thought, hey, why don't we start asking them questions? And we realized that 30% of people would complete a 10-question survey when asked in the moment. So today we're doing around, we will get 3,000 completed surveys in an hour on our system, and we have real-time mapping on all of the answers that are provided from where and the type of stores and locations that these responses are coming from. We then have the ability to move people from our displays to online for more confidential surveys, where we're doing a lot of things in China, for instance, with WeChat. So this is typically how one of our experiences will look. In the top right-hand corner, you'll see that's a TV commercial that Unilever was running, where you're seeing women put in these blocks of keratin for repairing your hair. This ad was airing all the time. Consumers didn't really understand what it was they were looking at. And through the gamified experiences, we not only extend that experience, we actually enable people to understand what it's about because they are fully engaged, focused, and acting upon it. And the magical thing about gaming is that you really cannot fake it. You will not complete an experience if you are not fully focused on what that task is. And actually, we don't charge brands for exposing in store. We only charge for completed moments of joy. So rather than a 1 second or 3 second viewability, it's a completed experience where someone has had a moment of joy in store, and that is on average 70 seconds. So why is it that games are super powerful? Well, one, gaming is 1 billion hours a day, and that's a lot of consumer time. And really, when you're looking at who gamers are, today it is absolutely everyone. 80% of connected population in China play games. 70% of those play games daily. And it is no longer something that is, for youth. I was talking to our organizer here and discussing some of the games that he's playing. The average demographic of a gamer today is a 33-year-old female. And when you do this, you have incredible results. So these are the results that we have when we deploy campaigns for Unilever, P&G, L'Oreal, Heineken, Coca-Cola, Nestle, etc., where we see that 82% of the people who touch one of our displays decides to stay all the way to the end and complete it. 12% will then connect from our displays to their mobile phone. And we are able to capture every day over 10% of the footfall in a store. It means that in a hypermarket, we are stopping over 1,000 people a day in every single one of our stores where we are deployed. 1,000 people a day will stop and engage on our platform. And this results in increased sales. So how is this relevant for the research market? Well, we heard at the beginning of this talk, what are some of the challenges here? And when we realized that we had such an incredible and vast audience, and that these shoppers were willing to answer further questions, we started seeing what the possibilities were around the research and insights side of the business. Vincenzo Chiomo, who was running PRS, joined us to start our insights division that we have just kicked off with some incredible results. And really, his view when he joined was just saying he'd been doing research for the last 15 years, and saying, there are some real fundamental problems both in offline and online marketing today, and there must be a way where technology and platform can disrupt this industry and bring about some new solutions. So, I'm just going to show you one of the reasons why consumers are actually engaging around this is because they're happy. And here's just some extracts of what we see in the stores. Go ahead. When people are interacting with our display. You can lower the sound a bit, it's a little annoying. So, these are supermarket environments where typically you don't have particularly happy shoppers, and it's focused around low involvement products. So this is a campaign we've just completed for L'Oreal in China. So we install these as destinations within retail. So they're media spaces. We don't install them for a brand. These are permanent locations. And then we sell out the space and experiences for the brands. So that campaign resulted in a 100% uplift across the entire category. It just came on the heels of another campaign we did for P&G in China that had a 151% uplift in the top stores. And then what they realized was that the data and insights that they were getting in terms of how the message was perceived, the relevancy of the product, the claims, the testing on packaging were additional values for them. And now we are launching for all of these companies some really interesting research projects. And this works because it is designed as a platform. So I won't walk you through all of the details of this, but what it means is that every new store is a new audience, and therefore it is infinitely scalable. And the fact that we are combining online metrics in the physical world is giving us real-time insights, because each of these tablets are connected, with what is happening around what. So here is some mock-up examples of the type of gamified experiences that we can provide on the platform, specifically targeted around research, where we are in getting thousands and thousands of people in store. Can you postpone that, maybe? I don't know who's speaking in 1 hour. And basically the result is that you are able to get insights a lot cheaper, a lot faster, and have it truly in the moment, where all of the debate that we were having around location and how you recruit people on mobile and are these professional respondents are completely bypassed. And this is really the three pillars around which we build the retail solution. And here are the existing clients that we have been doing campaigns and research with. And we're really excited to finally have a solution that is integrating the language of games in a manner that can derive new insights. And also, we didn't talk too much about it here, but there's some very exciting things happening where it really is around the implicit decisions that consumers are making, the choices that they're making in real time, 3 feet away from where the product are, where you see through the choices that they're making and their reactions, what it is that they are feeling at that time, and how this can tie into the overall research plans of the brands. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julian. Very interesting talk. And yes, I do play games. We have any questions? No? Thank you.
Where do you anticipate placing the games in the future? I mean, the examples you gave were great, but I can imagine that this could be enormous and all around the world. Can you talk into that a little bit?
Sure. So my background was mobile beforehand, and obviously, you know, this idea that everybody has a phone with them, so hey, we can just reach everyone through that, and we realized that only 5 apps are used daily by most people. The cost of acquiring users on mobile is skyrocketing. It's around $3.21 today to acquire a user on mobile on average. And so really what we're looking at is breaking down this discoverability by having these play spots where we remotely launch on them 1,500 times a day, these branded experiences, and through the serendipity of someone walking by, discovering and deciding to interact. So for us, wherever there is an audience, it makes sense for us to be. So we're right now deploying also in cinemas and universities in China, because that is the audience that we want to address. The shopping audience will remain our main focus, and supermarkets, hypermarkets, where you have 200,000 SKUs that are fighting for attention, it remains the critical juncture point of the $15 trillion that are exchanged every year in retail stores. And that is therefore the main area that we are focusing on. But indeed, it works wherever there are people.
Thank you. Another question?
Hi, I'm Ken Leong from Levi's. Can you tell us a little bit more about your collaboration, your work on WeChat in China? How are you using the platform?
Yeah, so again, because we don't force people to take an action before they're exposed to the delightful experience of one of our moments of joy, it again changes the funnel. I mean, typically the way advertising works today is that it starts by interrupting you. And then once you have paid the price of suffering through a painful ad or waiting 5 seconds to click, skip, you then get to see the piece of content that you want. What we're doing is that we're starting by creating the moment of joy and something that people really enjoy, get to the end, and then we offer them the opportunity to link between the device and their mobile. So in China, scanning QR code to join our WeChat channel. And what we see is that we are able to get massively more people to do this than if you start by forcing them to join initially. So 12% of people who will complete an experience will then join our channel, which means that this year, by the end of this year, we'll probably have the largest shopper channel in all of China as a new entrant into the market, just because we are recruiting people through this innovative way. And once you have them on WeChat, then we are able to manage that community and start leveraging that also for our brand partners.
Thank you. Yeah. When you come to conferences, quite often there's always something you see you haven't seen before, and for me, seeing that, I think that's a fantastic product you've got there. I'd be very surprised if I don't see that popping up in stores all over the world. So congratulations and thanks for a great talk.
Thank you so much. I'm out of business cards, so if anybody wants to join to follow up on the discussion, my email is julian@ksubaka.com. So first name and the name of the company. Thank you all.
Thanks, Julian.